everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. Today is Monday, April the 7th, 2025. I wanted to share this story because once again we see another child mauled to death by a dog. Before I continue, everybody, I want to give you that trigger warning because what I'm going to speak about is very sensitive. And also, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has been listening to the podcast using Spotify. Don't forget to follow me there. And also, thank you so much to everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Thank you so much for sharing and subscribing. Life can change at any moment. And I feel like I do always say this every time I make a video like this. We need to remember, guys, that we're living in the last days and the enemy is going to try anything in his power to do evil things. The enemy has always done evil things. And his only objective is to continue to do the same. So if he has to use an animal, he has to use people around you, he will do that, okay? So right now I'm going to speak to you guys about a tragic news. Grieving relatives of a baby girl mauled to death by family people are now planning a funeral as the police is launching an investigation. Police in Texas are investigating the death of an infant who was fatally mauled by the family dog. How crazy. First responders were called to Baytown apartment complex on the afternoon of April 1st after receiving a report of the attack, according to the city's public information officer, Jason Calder. They're saying that the victim's name is 6-month-old Kyomi Temple. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing the name of the victim, but the baby's name is Kyomi Temple. And they're saying that the Baytown Police Department is investigating the incident, though no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed at this time. Calder told the news that the child was taken to the hospital after the attack. While Baytown Animal Services arrived on the scene and removed the two dogs from the infant's apartment, both dogs were male people mixes, and officers and workers were able to identify the dog involved in the attack once they arrived on the scene. The dog involved in the attack will be euthanized, who said the dog that kills another person or an animal is always put down under the city ordinance. They also said that the owner of the dog verbally agreed to have the dog responsible for the fatal attack to be put down. So here's the thing. That's as much as information is being released in this case. I've seen videos. I mean, I didn't grow up in my life. I didn't grow up like having dogs in the house. I did have cats and I think baby chickens at one point when I was living in the DR. But I know I have seen videos that people do that when there's a newborn coming, like a new baby, right? And the family has a dog, they do this type of training so that the dog gets used to the new baby and that the dog also doesn't get jealous and all of that stuff. This baby was just 6 months old and they had two peoples in the apartment. And as much as we can, always say, I will never do anything like that, you need to understand that for some people, having dogs and having babies in the apartment is a very common thing. Some people manage it very well, okay? But, for me, when I look at something like this, you always have to remember, that's what I was saying in the beginning, the enemy will use anything in his power to attack somehow. No matter how much people will say to you, this is a very well-trained dog, right? This dog doesn't do anything. This animal has been going to training, all of that. At the end of the day, this is what I always say to people, they're still an animal, okay? At the end of the day, they will disobey at some point. That's why we have so many accidents that happen at circus. Things happen. Like the other day was a crazy video too of a I don't know what, it was an elephant that went, or a tiger or something that was attacking the trainer at the circus in a performance. And it's not the first time, very famous people have lost their life because of that. We see, at this, I know it's not SeaWorld, but this event where people go and see animals, right? And no matter how much they train, like no matter how much training animal goes through, at some point there is, I don't know, like it's a nature thing, right? That they do that. They rebel against their trainers. And when it comes to this for a home pet, I mean, it's a very sad situation that happened here. You have a baby 6 months old, and they're investigating. We really, it's so hard to pinpoint the finger to people that are already going through the loss, right? So I'm sure, when they knew they were having a baby, they never thought that the dogs will turn on them, right? It's just, you know, I have seen, there was another lady who gave a testimony about how some of her dogs just randomly started attacking her, a full adult who had the dog for years, and the dog just went crazy on her. So that's the whole point that I was saying in the beginning. Your life can change at any moment. If the enemy can use whatever he can to, you know, to do evil, that's what he always does, right? So should we people stop having pets in their house? No, absolutely not. But be aware, right? And continue the training as much as you can. But be aware and always be like watching them or something. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I didn't grow up with that many pets in my house, but just be aware and just, I guess you can say, use common sense to be safe. A lot of people have a lot of excuses. We've seen those videos. The delivery man shows up to the house and just doing their job, and here comes the massive dog trying to attack somebody, and people are like, I don't know how he got out. Just be responsible at this point, right? Especially when you know you're expecting somebody, when you know there's a package coming for you. People always want to act like, oh, I had no idea. If you know that the fence is not tall enough, you know that the dog gets out. So don't be negligent, right? And I don't, like I said, I don't know how much training people go through when they have pets in their house and they're having a new baby come in, right? I've seen videos where they train, like I said earlier, they train the dogs to get used to the baby in the house. But I don't know, like, how much of that training is necessary to actually say, okay, the dog is trained, okay, he can be around the baby now, everything will be fine. But I'm sure even by that training, like a supervision of a parents needs to be there all the time. In this case, they're not releasing details. They don't have a person that they're saying this is the person responsible. They're saying still doing investigation. Regardless of what come out of that, you guys, now we have to look at what happened. And the result was that there is a baby girl who lost her life at 6 months old because of these people. And there's a family right now who is dealing with this tragic loss, right? And the reason also that I wanted to share this story was, like I said many times in my videos, is that the family has created a GoFundMe to help with the funeral costs, okay? So I'm gonna leave the link here. You can pray for the family. If you're led to donate, you can come and click on the link and donate directly to the family. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. I just put the link here and share it. And you can do that. A lot of the times we don't understand situations until we go through them. But it's a beautiful thing to have empathy and and understand other people's when they're going through something difficult, right? And everybody makes mistakes. People, there are things that happen, and like I said, a lot of the times, no matter how much training an animal might have, they at some point will rebel. That's why we see circus animals that go crazy. Like, it's insane. You would think that they don't have any training. The way they attack their their what do you call them? There's a name for the people that manage the animals at the circus, but sometimes the attendant, I guess, like you can say, you would think, oh my goodness, what's happening? But they go through extensive training to the point that even some organizations will get involved and be like, don't abuse the animals, this and the other. That's a lot of training for them, or this and that. But even with so much training, that's my whole point, they still will rebel, okay? So things like this will happen. So here's the GoFundMe link. I'm going to leave it here in the description of this episode. Feel free to donate, or you can also help the family by just praying for them and give them comfort going through a very difficult situation. And let me just, before I finish, let me just briefly read some of the comments in the comment section here, saying, somebody saying, these stories happen too often. Dogs that kill need to be limited to one dog, licensed and trained. Ability to test out by designated professionals on an annual basis. That's a good idea. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, how much training? Like, when do you know they're ready to receive a newborn in the house? Because, do you check on that training like this person said, every year or every 6 months, to make sure everything's still good here, right? But then it can be unpredictable. That's why I was mentioning the animals at the circus, that they've been doing the same routine for years, and then one day they just don't want to do it, and they go, they go bizarre, they go crazy. So let me just see what else. See, somebody say, I own a people for 12 years and she was a sweet baby, but I wouldn't have trusted her alone with an infant. But, we don't know the details of how they got to the baby. We don't know what happened here, right? But like I said, that's why other thing, people always say, no, peoples are good dogs. And then some people say, I'm terrified of those type of dogs, right? So that's just how it is. Some people will like it, some others, even though they love dogs, they will never go and like get a people for their house or something. But anyways, let me know, guys, what you think in the comments. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.